I feel compelled to make a video to explain what's been going on with me because unless you're really close to my space, you don't really know. And I've got family and friends out there that, they kind of like will pop in a message once in a while and ask how I'm doing and what's been going on. And it's just really hard to explain to everybody and just repeat it over and over again. So I'm going to kind of try to do a chronological video about what has happened from day one. So back in January of 2021, I was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure, which is my kidneys were working at 4%. So, I went from, doing a bodybuilding show in November of 2020 to being in the hospital in January of 2021 for end-stage renal failure. So, it was like I still remember, it was 2 years ago, but I still remember laying in the hospital bed and all these doctors are over me and they're saying, here's what's going on. Basically you're gonna die and we got to get you on dialysis, and then we're gonna have to get you set up for an appointment for to get tested for a kidney transplant. And all this stuff was being put into my head, and I'm like thinking that's impossible. I've always taken care of myself. I've always eaten, my keto diet for like 30 years, exercised all the time, drank plenty of water, didn't drink hardly any alcohol ever, and, no juices or pops. I mean, I was always careful with what I consumed. But it turns out that, too much protein, too much high oxalate, leafy greens, and also the fat burners like ephedra, just me taking aspirin every day with coffee. All of that stuff is detrimental to your kidneys. I was overdosing on calcium and D3, and it was such a harsh slap in the face, because never in a million years did I think I was ever going to have to that I would ever get sick, and let alone in something like that, because I always based myself on respecting my organs. And, I would even preach that, pay attention to your internal organs first. And the biggest mistake that I made was I never got a blood work. And it wasn't until I was, I had a friend literally force me to do a blood work, to where we found out, hey, guess what? You're dying. So at 60 years old, I was confronted with the fact that I was dying from a very severe illness, which is end-stage renal failure. With that being, it's like after that, I did really try to take care of it and get it back. But once you're down to 4%, which is what mine was, there's no coming back. But I did try for a year and 4 months. And so after that year and 4 months, my body finally told me that, it was over. And so I ended up back in the hospital in May of 2022. And that's when they told me that I either do the dialysis or I will die a very painful death, which is your body swells up and squeezes your heart. And so I started the dialysis in May, which I didn't have a choice because I was in the hospital. And the other thing too was back in October of 2021. So besides the fact that I was fighting the kidney failure, my blood pressure was always like 170 something over something. It was just always high. And so my heart was being severely abused. My body wasn't making its own blood. So I was having to get these shots, these EPO shots that would make my body get blood. And in order for me to get those shots, I had to have blood drawn every month. So it seemed like the amount of blood that was being drawn out was the amount that I was getting the shot to get more blood. It was just this ongoing useless thing. And so then I was put on a thyroid medication because my thyroid got all screwed up with on top of everything else. And in October of 2021, all my hair fell out. And I gotta tell you, there's nothing worse than being bald. So, kidney failure is one thing, but, being known for your curly locks, like I always had that Marilyn Monroe hair, and everybody always loved it and, encouraged me to keep that hairstyle and all that. I mean, literally one day I reached up and I felt my head kind of, it felt like it was prickly, and I just grabbed a clump of hair and it just came out. So I ended up being bald from October of 2021 till around April of 2022, because I automatically went off of those thyroid pills. And when I did that, it took a few months, but my hair eventually started to grow back. And, this is how long it's been since the hair loss. This is all that's grown out so far. So it started growing back in the end of April this year, and this is how far it's gotten. So I got my hair back, and unfortunately, one of the drugs I have to take if I get my kidney is a drug that might make you lose hair. So I'm not looking forward to that, because any of us who have lost hair, a lot of people that go through chemo lose hair. Anybody that's lost their hair knows how humiliating it is. It's the whole Samson thing. It's like, it's so humiliating being bald, and wigs just do not make it for me. So I'm happy I got my hair back. Anyway, so I started dialysis in May of 2022 of this year because of my body just collapsed and said it's enough. So now I have to go through the humility of having two 15-gauge needles put in my arm every 3 times a week. And I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's pretty gross. It's like I have this big, huge vein right here. And that it's big like that because, like a muscle, the more it gets used, the bigger it gets. Once I have a new kidney, if I get a new kidney, then I don't ever have to do dialysis. So that's the goal, because being a prisoner, having to go 3 days a week for 4 hours at a time with those needles is really the most horrible thing I've ever endured in my life, and it's ongoing. It's not something I can avoid unless I get that transplant. So that's what's been happening since May. And then my darling husband, who, we've been side by side for 28 years and, had our good days and bad days, but we were definitely best of friends. He dropped dead on me in July. And so now I'm totally by myself, which I'm not a codependent person, but I definitely was not responsible. And so, I was like that thriving artist that was always in my shop creating things and living in my la land while he did all the responsible things. And now I have to do all of it. So basically what's happened in between the year 2020 and now, I have made a complete 180 metamorphosis to where I was a carefree person that, loved my art and my working out, to now I'm just officially a unemployed, disabled widow. And as far as Washington State goes, that is my title. That's what they call me. I get Social Security, I'm on Medicare. Anybody that's on dialysis can be on Medicare. It doesn't matter how old you are. But it's just kind of weird. It's one thing when you just like through periods of years and you kind of watch yourself grow old. With me, it was like a light switch went off and I got old. And and I don't give a crap what any of my older friends tell me. I did become old, and it happened overnight. I just, I got sick and everything changed on me. My skin changed on me, my hair changed on me, my strength level is completely kaput. I still get up and do cardio and go up back with the horse and the dogs and all that, but it's just not the same. I can't, I don't have that energy or the strength that I did anymore. And who knows, if I get the new kidney, everybody tells me that I'll be able to eat healthy again and that my life will, be pretty much back to the way it was. But I highly doubt that. And I'm not like being a pessimist. I just, I'm just going to take it as it is and accept my destiny. And, I'll just try to rock it the best that I can. And, I love all of my people. So, that's really what's the most important is the love and the prayers that everybody has given me. And I want to thank everybody out there who has given me their prayers because I really do feel them, and there's a lot. So I really appreciate that, and I do feel it. I feel the energy coming at me, and you guys I'll always accept a prayer. It's a beautiful thing. I feel sorry for anybody that thinks it's silly or that would reject it, because it is absolutely a beautiful thing. And I want everybody to have a Merry Christmas. I'm going to try to get this posted on Facebook in the next couple days. That's it. I'm done. I just wanted to let everybody know what's going on. And I'll just keep plugging away and maybe make another video in a year or so if I'm still alive. Ta-ta.